Samantha from Scrapmaster's Paradise, and today I am going to start my week number 12. I decided to start with this Design Q page, so I made a template for that. And this page came from the Just Add Color kit, but I think this one's also available in one of the small variety packs. I'd mentioned the Just Add Color kit in my week 11 and I didn't get around to using it. This was a kit that was done through HSN a long time ago. I had ordered it way before Christmas and mine ended up getting lost and we thought it was going to be gone forever, but it ended up showing up in January and I have not had a chance to use it yet, so I thought I would use it today. And I have a horizontal 3x4 and that's why I think this will be a good one to use. This kit isn't available anymore at this point. I don't know if they're going to release it sometime or not. Hopefully it'll come out some other time. So I'm going to start with that. So I pulled out the 4x4s to fill these spots. I'm also going to try to use up some kits today. I've still got a few pieces in my January Studio Calico kit. I'm going to try to kill this one off and use up the rest of what's in here. Since I'm now working with the page templates while I scrapbook, I put my photos in order. They're in chronological order, so I'll try to scrap them a little bit in chronological order. But that way I didn't have to pull out all the page protectors and rearrange things. I just have my photos in order and I can scrapbook as many of them as I can in order. If I need more than just this Design Q, I'll go to a Design A for the next page. And that's it. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on my music and speed this up and walk you guys through it. Before I got started on my week number 12, I pulled out my week number 11 and finished that up since I got the pictures printed. Now I'm just pulling out all those mustache post-it notes that you saw in my week 12 process video and filling in all of the photos. I'm just taking them off, sticking the photos on, and it was super easy because I already had everything planned out. To point out the trash can in this picture, I used a little arrow. Our trash can blew away with the wind here, so I had to go hunt and find it, and so I took pictures of that. Here's a look at that whole side finished up. There was also a little bit of space left on this little label, so I decided to grab an enamel dot that matched that yellow card in the middle of this page, and I just added it to that spot to just kind of fill it in. And that was it, so here's a look at it. Now I'm moving on to my week number 12 and I'm just laying out my pictures. We got our eyes checked, so all these funky pictures on the left hand side are us with our eyes dilated. So if you look really close at these photos, we look absolutely crazy. It's actually really neat. So now I'm just going to the Just Add Color kit. I pulled that yellow striped one out of the Copper Mountain kit. That was the January Studio Calico kit. And I'm just looking through these, trying to find some good cards for those middle spots. This is kind of my process for picking out cards. I flip through, pick out any ones that I think are going to match or think will look good, and just kind of set them aside as I go, and then I can try to rearrange those with my pictures. And I had that 4x6 spot at the bottom, but I decided to use one of the 4x4s since I had a 4x4 photo, and then they'll just overlap a little bit. And I don't have to use one of my 4x6s because it seems like 4x6s are kind of rare. So now I'm trying to use the rest of that Copper Mountain kit and coordinate, but the stripes went wrong on that card. I didn't want to have the stripes going in opposite directions, and they just did not work at all for this, so I had to go to something else. I pulled out here the Sugar Rush kit, which was the February one, and they didn't match very well either, so I ended up finding a card in the March kit. Before I started putting things together, I pulled the page that would be next to it and made sure that they matched okay, because I like the two pages facing each other to kind of coordinate. Now I'm just making a 4x4 out of this picture and a 3x4 card by lining it up with a 4x4 card. That's kind of like the cheater method I showed you guys to make 4x6 cards. This picture of me is so crazy. I look crazy in the picture, but it's even crazier if you look up close. It's like my pupils are so huge because of the dilating. But I'm just writing on here about us getting our eyes dilated. I just grabbed an orange cardstock scrap to use for the journaling, and then I'm just going to cut it down and then fit it in that card a little bit as a little layer. And then I'm going to decorate it with these embellishments from that Copper Mountain kit. Well, most of the 4x6s were fine, so I'm just kind of decorating the other page. And I'm using this cheater method again. It's such a good method, and you save part of your cards that way, and you don't have to use 4x6s for the bigger spaces. So I'm just going to do some journaling on here. I ordered a ton of Studio Calico kits, and they came in. Now I pulled out the March Freckled Fawn stamp set. It came with the Oh Dear Me kit, and I'm just grabbing this little stamp. I think it says Love This, and I grabbed some gray ink for some tone-on-tone stamping. And I tried to do some second generation stamping where you just ink it up once and stamp a couple of times. But I wanted more of those second generation, so I stamped it on a piece of scrap cardstock and then did the second and third stampings onto the page again to make more of those faded out stamp impressions. So I used the same piece of scrap cardstock. It was actually the perfect size to fit on this 4x4, and I'm using this as my week title page. For some reason I got it in my head that this was week number 11 when I was looking for numbers, and so I thought I had plenty of space to write 11 there, but it turns out it's week number 12, so I had to take that heart out. And I ended up ripping my cardstock just a tiny bit when I realized it's week 12 and not week 11. But I just covered it up with that too, and nobody will really know. Now I'm just going to stamp the dates underneath the week number with a roller date stamp and that same gray ink I used before. To find the dates, I just pulled out my Project Life planner and I stamped it on a piece of scrap just to make sure that it was stamping correctly, because I have trouble sometimes not getting a good stamping impression with these. But it did work out, and I put the little dash using the Project Life pen. I just trimmed the piece of scrap cardstock down and attached it. Next I'm going to work on this top right card, and I'm just going to attach the 3x4 photo to it and do my journaling in that little label shape. And I already had that little heart shape out, so I decided to use that on there. And I'm going to write apple a day because I tried to eat an apple every day that week, and I'm actually still eating apples most days. I don't eat a lot of fruit, so I try to incorporate that in with my afternoon snacks or whatever. I'm just using these little wood veneer alphabets, which I think are super cute. These came in that January kit from Studio Calico. I'm just writing out apple a day, and it takes me a while to find them because I'm running out of alphabets in this set. Sometimes you have to be a little bit creative with your letters, like 3s can usually be turned around and used as an E, and 7s can be used as L's sometimes. You can also make a P out of an R, or an R out of a P by just cutting off the little extra thing or adding an extra thing to a P to make the R. And if all else fails, you can just mix alphabets. It looks really cool and eclectic when you get a mix of alphabets here and there. I was able to find all the letters that I needed, so I'm just gluing them down with the Tombow. And then I called that card done after I did my journaling. And this next card is a 4x4 journaling card and a 3x4 photo. So I'm lining it up with the back of that 4x6 card since it's going to be in a 4x6 spot. And then I just made my fake 4x6. And now I'm just doing my journaling on this card. And to decorate it, I'm going to use those same little asterisk star shapes, and then I'm going to add a little bit of a title on here too. Those alphas were too big, so I ended up having to find other alphas that I wanted to use, and I decided to go with one of these Freckled Fawn little banner shapes. It just says, "This is happening," and it was just a cute moment with Bella, so I thought it fit. Now I'm done with this page. I'm going to grab my page protector and just stuff them all in. Now I'm on my page 2, which is going to be the back side of that same page protector. The reason I really wanted to use the 4x4 spots on this page protector was because of that ice cream photo that's a horizontal 3x4. And I have too many pictures to fit on just this backside page, so I'm going to have to go on to a third page. I'm just trying to figure out how I want everything arranged. I go back and forth with how I want it because I have a lot of pictures for Friday night, So I decided to move those dog pictures to the page after this, even though chronologically they came before these Friday night pictures. So I just changed it over, and it's okay to move things around. They don't have to always be chronological, and you just have to work with what you got. Now I'm just sorting through the various kits again and finding cards for this page, and I ended up cutting this picture just a little bit to make it fit so I could still see that super word on there. I'm just flipping through and I'm having trouble matching things up with that yellow and blue card. So I kind of give up and just make it kind of random colored, and I don't care so much about matchy-matchy. I did use this card that's the back of one of the cards that they send. It has Studio Calico on it, so I'm picking out some embellishments to hide that Studio Calico logo on there. Almost all of the photos on this whole layout are from our Friday night. This is when my husband got news of his raise and we went out and celebrated. I'm going to use this card to describe all the stuff that happened on Friday and talk about his raise. And so I'm putting a title under here. It's going to say Super Friday, and I'm going through all these letters. I'm running out of letters and I can't find an F. And then it hits me that I actually bought an extra kit of this. There was some sort of big sale going on a little while back and I ended up with another kit. So I pulled out the other kit, grabbed the alphas out of it, and I had plenty of alphabets now. Now the little container is so full I can't see what I'm looking for, so I decided to dump out some of it and then I can look for it that way. I also used a little heart from this pack. I'm going to attach it next to the super. I'm just using my Tombow multipurpose again to get all these attached. Then I did my journaling. And to decorate it, I used the last of those little puffy stickers, and I used that whole pack up. I was really excited. Now I'm using a 3x4 and a 4x4 spot with this photo. Since this was a horizontal 3x4, it was perfect for this 4x4 pocket. I can just do a little bit of journaling underneath the photo and it fits perfectly in that 4x4 space. Since I had a little space under my journaling, I decided to write Yum in these cute little green alphabets. These were part of an add-on kit from March, but they do sell these in the Studio Calico store. Next, I'm going to have this 4x6 photo cut down so it fits in these two 4x4 spots. And then I'm going to make a faux journaling card out of this, but I forget that I'm making it into a 4x4. And I totally end up messing up this card. I rub it even, and the ATG is super strong, so you can see I ripped the card, but I still want to use it. I'm not going to waste it. It's the only one of these cards, so I didn't want to just, throw it out. Ordinarily, I would if it was like one of the Becky Higgins ones. I probably would just throw it out. I grabbed this piece of scrap cardstock to use as the back, and now I'm making my faux 4x4 card with this 3x4. And my photo, and then I'm just going to cover up that little space that's left. You can see it there. It's just a big scratch in my thing. So I went through, grabbed out one of my SP mini flares to just cover up that spot, and then nobody will know except you guys since you watched this, but it's super easy to cover up mistakes. If you have a mistake like that, just add an embellishment or something. Now I'm using those alphabets that came in the March Studio Calico kit, and I'm writing Nom, and I'm going to write it again in little letters because I didn't have any more N's in that pack, or I would have written it twice. So I'm grabbing some mini alphabets that match, and I'm just going to write it a couple more times. For this last card on the page, I have the Studio Calico card, but it has their logo on it, and so I'm going to cover that up with these embellishments that I had picked out, making my faux 4x6 card, and then I'm going to cover up that spot. So I've got a piece of flair and one of my little printable banners, and I'll have links to both these over on the blog post. You guys can check those out. And I'm just covering that up. And my dog's got this thing called a bark box. It's just a box of healthy dog treats and dog toys, and they're like all natural, a lot of organic stuff. It's like hippie stuff for dogs, and it comes in the mail every month, and we've been enjoying it, and the dogs absolutely love it. When the box comes, they can smell the treats, so they're all up in my business when I'm trying to open this box. So I'm just writing about their bark box this month. They got some cute little bacon and egg shaped toys, and I actually have some photos of that on my week number 13 coming up. There's a pretty funny story that goes along with that, but I picked out some more of these little wood veneers to use as the title for this. I'm just writing Bark Box out since that's the name of this little club thing for the dogs. And then I'm going to do some journaling directly on that orange about their enjoying it. You can see all 4 of the dogs are in this picture. They're really, really cute. I'm done with that page and now I'm putting them all in the page protectors. I decided to write a little bit about this Ruby Tuesday picture because I'm dipping pickles into buffalo sauce and I just really love that combination together, so I just journaled about it. If you like pickles and you like buffalo sauce, they are so good together. You should definitely try it. It sounds weird, but it's really, really good. So there's my whole layout. Now moving on to my last page, I changed out my template to a design A, and I don't have very many pictures left, and I'm trying to rearrange to decide how I like them. And I thought about trying to, only use like half of the page, but then I decided to just go ahead and use the whole page, and that way I could get rid of some of these cards from the January Studio Calico kit. Now I'm pulling out other cards. I loved this card. It says something about adventures on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and these are pictures from the weekend mostly, so it worked really good for this layout. Now I'm just filling in the rest of the gaps, going through my various kits to try to use up what I've got. The cards down the middle are from January, and then that card at the bottom is from March. Now I'm going to my February kit and pulling out one of those cards, and that's enough of the cards. And there were these cute little arrows, so I decided to pull those out and use those. I have pieced together more cards on this layout than I have ever pieced together before. I'm just making another one of those faux 4x6s, and I'm going to do my little journaling in that spot. And I kept the rest of the card pretty plain. This card I'm just talking about the dogs being lazy on our day, and so I just added a little arrow to point down towards the dogs, since that's what I was talking about. And then in this card I'm going to talk about the pictures above. So I'm just doing my journaling inside this square. I had originally planned on just adding a picture inside this square, but I never found a really good layout to use this on, and I really like this card. So I went ahead and used it, and just used it for journaling. Add the wood veneer pointing up since it's talking about the photos above, and calling that one done. Now for this one, it's a weird shaped picture, so I just attached it to one side, and I'm going to do a little bit of journaling about these mugs. We've had these mugs a while, but we collect these mugs. We have a lot more Christmas mugs than anything else, but we don't drink coffee or anything, so we don't really get to use them a lot. I just wrote that on there, and I'm adding that little sequin that was left over. There was just one sequin in that January kit left. I wanted to go ahead and use it. Now I'm just going to find the letters to spell out the word cute, just to describe those mugs. This card I'm just going to cover up those lines and stick my picture over those lines. And I liked how clean and simple this card was, so I'm just leaving it like that. For this one I'm going to write, I love lazy days with you, because that's pretty much our favorite kind of weekends. We just like hanging out at home, maybe doing a little window shopping or going around the lake for a walk. And my dog's getting upset for some reason, I don't know. I'm just using these old Echo Park alphabets, and they are not cut all the way through, so you see me kind of struggling with pulling them apart and making sure they don't have little white edges around them. So I just write out this title. I think it looks really good with the brown on the craft and with that red heart. So I really like how it turned out. When I was done, I also decided to add the dogs' names to these photos. And right now, of course, we know the dogs' names, but I'm thinking many years down the road, we might not be sure which dogs are which. So I decided to go ahead and write their names on the layout. And you never know who's going to be looking at your albums later and who's not going to know. So it's good to write names of people and animals on some pictures every once in a while. So I'm calling this page done. I grabbed an A pocket and then I'm just stuffing them all in there, getting them lined up. And when I was done with that, I had these little word vellum stickers that I got in an add-on kit, and they're really cute and they talk about a lot of different things. So I decided to read through them and see if I could use a couple of them on here. I keep forgetting to grab these. I just think they're super cute. When I use these in the future, I'll stick them on some white cardstock because they are vellum, so you can barely see them when they're on something super dark like that photo. So I added another one on a different page, and then all the rest of them didn't quite fit in with what I was doing. So now I'll show you the whole thing up close. I really like how this one turned out, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for more videos. I plan on sharing my week number 13 on Thursday, so then I'll finally be caught up with my weeks. And be sure to check out my blog daily because I'm starting a new mini-series tomorrow, and I have a tutorial or project every single day. Well, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye!